The Grand Council chamber of the Zylaxian Empire buzzed with anticipation as hundreds of tentacled representatives settled into their hoverpods. The chamber's crystalline dome reflected the light of 3 suns, casting prismatic patterns across the assembled dignitaries who had gathered for what they assumed would be a routine conquest approval meeting. High Commander Zyloff, his purple epidermis gleaming with ceremonial oils, floated to the central podium. 6 of his 8 eyes blinked in sequence, a gesture of supreme confidence among his species. The remaining 2 eyes focused on the holographic display of a rather unremarkable blue-green planet. Esteemed members of the Council, Zyloff's translator device conveyed in the standard galactic frequency. Today, we discuss the acquisition of solar system designation Earth. He paused for dramatic effect, a trait he'd picked up from watching intercepted human entertainment broadcasts, though he'd completely misunderstood the concept and held the pause for an awkwardly long time. A collective rustle of tentacles filled the chamber, accompanied by the occasional bored gurgle. Our preliminary scans indicate a Level 2 civilization, continued Zyloff, bringing up a series of images. They still use combustion engines, believe in paper currency, and spend approximately 1/3 of their lives in a state of unconsciousness they call sleep. He chuckled, a sound like gravel in a waste disposal unit. The Chief of Intelligence, Dr. Zix 427, waved a sensory appendage. If I may, High Commander, our deep space monitoring has revealed that their primary forms of entertainment include watching others prepare sustenance, arguing about sports teams, and sharing images of small furry creatures they keep as prisoners in their dwellings. Prisoners? Asked a concerned council member. Yes, confirmed Zix 427. They call them pets and regularly document their captivity on something called Instagram. The chamber erupted in tentacle-slapping laughter. High Commander Zyloff had to activate his sonic dampeners to restore order. Furthermore, he continued, their global defense strategy appears to be based entirely on pointing increasingly dangerous sticks at each other while simultaneously arguing about whose stick is biggest. He gestured to a diagram of nuclear missiles, primitive deterrents at best. The Grand Archon herself, Supreme Leader Vixis, raised a glowing appendage. The chamber fell silent. Have we considered, her melodious frequencies resonated through the chamber, that any species surviving despite such obvious handicaps might be more resilient than we assume? High Commander Zyloff's epidermis rippled with barely contained amusement. Supreme Leader, with all due respect, they still think digital watches are a pretty neat idea. Our battle computers calculate a 99.9% chance of success, with a margin of error of 0.1%. Those are impressive odds, murmured the assembled council. Indeed, Zyloff preened, all 8 eyes now gleaming. I propose we launch the invasion immediately. We'll begin with their most strategic location, something they call Florida. The council voted unanimously in favor, with only Supreme Leader Vixis abstaining, her ancient eyes holding a glimmer of concern that everyone else was too excited to notice. As the council dispersed, Dr. Zix 427 approached Zyloff with a final report. Sir, should we perhaps investigate why they have something called Florida Man trending in their global information network? Irrelevant, Zyloff dismissed with a wave of his tentacle. How dangerous could one regional human be? They would soon find out just how wrong their calculations were. The Zylaxians' most advanced stealth ship, the Inevitable Victory, broke through Earth's atmosphere at precisely 2:47 a.m. Eastern Time. Their carefully calculated arrival point was a large open area in central Florida, specifically the parking lot of a Walmart supercenter. Captain Crick stood proudly at the helm, his tentacles expertly manipulating the ship's controls. Engage cloaking shield, he commanded, completely unaware that their supposedly advanced stealth technology was being thoroughly defeated by the store's security cameras, 3 teenagers' smartphones, and a particularly enthusiastic amateur astronomer who'd been trying to photograph Jupiter. Sir, Lieutenant Vix reported, I'm detecting a large gathering of humans in the vicinity. Impossible, Crix dismissed. Our intelligence indicates humans are inactive during their nightly unconsciousness period. The ship touched down between a monster truck and a row of shopping carts. As the dust settled, they realized their error. The Walmart was having a 3 a.m. clearance sale. "Deploy the greeting party," Crix ordered, determined to stick to protocol despite the unexpected circumstances. "Remember, we've studied their customs extensively. We know exactly how to handle this." 3 Zylaxian diplomats emerged from the ship, their ceremonial robes glittering under the harsh parking lot lights. The lead diplomat, Ambassador Quix, had spent months practicing human greetings. He approached the growing crowd of curious shoppers, raised his tentacles in what he thought was a universal gesture of peace, and proclaimed through his translator, "Take me to your manager." The crowd fell silent. Then someone in the back shouted, "Oh, hell no, we got space Karens." The ambassador consulted his cultural database, confused by the reference. Before he could formulate a response, an elderly woman with a cart full of discounted garden gnomes pushed forward. "Listen here, sugar," she addressed Quix, completely unfazed by his alien appearance. "I've been waiting since midnight for these gnomes to go on sale, and if you think you can just cut in line because you're from outer space, you've got another thing coming." Ambassador Quix blinked all 4 sets of eyes in confusion. "We are here to begin your species' subjugation process," he announced, trying to regain control of the situation. "Sir, this is a Walmart," a tired-looking employee responded automatically. Meanwhile, the ship's cultural analyst was having a breakdown trying to process the humans' reactions. According to their research, humans should be either running in terror or attempting to contact their military leaders. Instead, someone was live-streaming the encounter on TikTok, another person was trying to sell the aliens essential oils, and a group of college students had started a betting pool on whether the aliens would try to use an expired coupon. "Perhaps we should demonstrate our superior technology," suggested the second diplomat. He raised his quantum destabilizer, aimed it at a shopping cart, and fired. The cart remained stubbornly intact. Their weapons, it seemed, were no match for whatever indestructible material Walmart shopping carts were made from. The situation deteriorated further when the store manager finally emerged, looking exactly as thrilled as anyone would be, dealing with an alien invasion during a clearance sale. "Do you have a permit for that spaceship?" he asked, pointing to their vessel. "A permit?" Ambassador Quix's translator struggled with the concept. "Can't park that there without a permit. It's taking up 6 spaces, and one of them's handicapped." The third diplomat frantically consulted their invasion manual, which had nothing to say about parking regulations. "We are an advanced civilization," he protested. "We do not need your primitive permits." "Tell it to the tow truck," the manager replied, already dialing. Captain Crix watched in horror from the ship as his diplomatic team was handed parking violation notices, 3 membership application forms, and a handful of coupons for the deli section. Their careful invasion plans had accounted for military resistance, governmental negotiation, and even nuclear weapons. They hadn't prepared for bureaucracy. To make matters worse, someone had posted a 1-star review of their invasion on Yelp. Aliens showed up during clearance sale, didn't even bring their own shopping bags. Very unprofessional. Would not be invaded again. The emergency strategy meeting aboard the Zylaxian mothership was not going well. High Commander Zelof's epidermis had turned an embarrassing shade of chartreuse as he reviewed the Walmart incident reports. "How?" he demanded, all 8 eyes twitching sporadically. "How did our most elite diplomatic team get banned from every Walmart in North America?" Dr. Zix 427 nervously adjusted his hoverpod. Apparently, they tried to pay the parking fine with space crystals. When that failed, they attempted to barter with advanced technology. The store manager was unimpressed with our quantum flux capacitor, stating that, "If it ain't got a barcode, we can't take it." The assembled military strategists shifted uncomfortably in their gelatinous seats. General Nixis, fresh from the Andromeda campaign, raised a battle-scarred tentacle. "Clearly, we underestimated their defensive retail protocols. I suggest we switch to Plan Omega-7, full technological superiority demonstration." Holographic displays flickered to life, showing their most advanced weaponry. The Zylaxians had spent millennia perfecting their military technology. Surely the humans would cower before their might. "We'll deploy our molecular disassembly cannons," General Nixis continued, pointing to the schematics. "One blast can reduce any structure to its constituent atoms." "Except Walmart shopping carts," someone muttered from the back. The comment earned them an immediate reassignment to waste management duty. "Additionally," the general pressed on,
We'll utilize our mind control broadcasting system. Our scientists guarantee it can override any primitive neural network.
Dr. Zix 427 cleared his throat equivalent. About that, sir. Early tests indicate the humans have developed an immunity to mind control through something called customer service experience. Their minds have built up a natural resistance to psychological manipulation. High Commander Zyloff slammed a tentacle on the hover table. Enough! Deploy the autonomous combat drones. Even these primitives can't possibly have a defense against our AI-driven warfare platforms. The deployment order was given. Thousands of combat drones descended upon major human cities, their quantum computers processing combat strategies faster than light itself. They lasted approximately 15 minutes before running into their first unexpected obstacle: pigeons. The report came in from a horrified drone operator. Sir, the local avian wildlife, they're using our drones as public restrooms. Our advanced sensor arrays are being compromised by bird droppings. But that was just the beginning. In New York, a hot dog vendor had figured out how to reprogram a fallen drone to keep his sausages warm. In Tokyo, teenagers were already selling drone parts as exclusive accessories, and in London someone had painted one in the colours of their football club and was using it to heckle rival fans. Perhaps, suggested a junior strategist, we should try our planetary weather control system? Create some chaos through environmental manipulation? The system was activated, targeting Earth's atmosphere with precision energy beams designed to create devastating storms. It worked perfectly until it encountered Florida's natural weather patterns. The resulting meteorological feedback loop caused 3 of their weather control satellites to short-circuit and start playing human reality TV shows on repeat. High Commander Zyloff stared out the mothership's window at the Earth below, where their most advanced technology was being systematically defeated by what the humans called everyday inconveniences. One last option, he declared gravely. Deploy the planet Cracker. The massive weapon emerged from the mothership's belly, its energy core humming with enough power to split a world in half. As it powered up, targeting Earth's core, a message appeared on all their screens. Error 404, administrative access denied. Please update Adobe Flash Player. In the ensuing silence, Dr. Zix 427 quietly updated the invasion manual's risk assessment section. Warning, human technology may appear primitive but operates on a principle we don't fully understand called Murphy's Law. By the 3rd day of the invasion, the Zylaxian Empire's most elite warriors were being systematically defeated by what humans called household items. The situation reports flooding into the mothership's command center read like a comedy of errors written by a particularly sadistic playwright. In Detroit, a grandmother had taken out an entire squad of shock troops with her collection of cast iron skillets. The humans are using primitive metallurgy as defensive weapons, the squad leader reported before being knocked unconscious by a perfectly seasoned pan that, according to the grandmother, had been in the family for generations. The Australian front wasn't faring any better. The invasion forces there had retreated after encountering what they described as elastic-powered primitive projectile weapons, which turned out to be a group of teenagers with rubber bands and paperclips. The fact that these same teenagers had also managed to hijack and reprogram 3 Zylaxian battle mechs to perform synchronized TikTok dances only added to the humiliation. We need to understand their warfare technology better, High Commander Zyloff declared, his tentacles twitching with barely contained frustration. What are these WD-40 and duct tape substances they keep utilizing? Dr. Zix 427 pulled up his analysis. They appear to be some sort of universal repair tools. The humans have an saying, if it moves and shouldn't, use duct tape. If it doesn't move and should, use WD-40. That's not how technology works, Zyloff exploded, causing his ceremonial oils to evaporate in agitation. You can't just have 2 solutions for every engineering problem. The humans seem to disagree, sir. They've already repaired 3 of our disabled warships with these substances. 2 are now being used as food trucks. The reports continued to pour in. In Canada, their atmospheric assault carriers were being brought down by what the humans called hockey pucks, launched with terrifying accuracy. The pilots swore the projectile somehow defied the laws of physics, though Dr. Zix 427 suspected they were just really bad at dodging. The Brazilian division reported a total rout after locals introduced their battle robots to something called caipirinha, which somehow short-circuited their primary directive protocols and got them joining street parties instead. The robots were last seen attempting to learn samba. But perhaps the most devastating blow came from the American Midwest, where a farmer had managed to daisy-chain 37 John Deere tractors together to create what he called a crop circle maker. The resulting geometric patterns in his cornfield had somehow scrambled the entire Zylaxian navigation system, causing their fleet to receive directions exclusively to various Starbucks locations. "Sir," a communications officer interrupted, "we're receiving strange energy signatures from something called Reddit. The humans they're weaponizing memes against us." The main screen filled with image macros mocking their invasion attempts. The most popular ones showed their planet cracker getting the "this is fine" dog treatment, which was somehow affecting troop morale more effectively than any Earth military response. In Italy, their attempt to disable the human food supply had backfired spectacularly when a nonna declared their bioweapons needed more garlic and proceeded to improve the formula to the point where it was now being bottled and sold as a premium pasta sauce. The Japanese theater reported that their mind control rays had been adapted into a new form of entertainment technology, with several gaming companies already announcing pre-orders for Invasion Force VR. "What about the infiltration units?" Zyloff demanded desperately. "Surely our shapeshifters have had some success." A junior officer pulled up that report, then immediately wished he hadn't. The infiltrators had all been discovered within hours, not because of any sophisticated detection technology, but because they couldn't grasp human social media etiquette. One had been caught because they didn't understand why humans needed to post pictures of their food before eating it. Another had accidentally revealed themselves by actually reading and accepting the terms and conditions on a website. The final straw came when their ultimate biological weapon, a virus designed to turn humans into compliant drones, was defeated by what the humans called essential oils and healing crystals. Not because these things actually worked, but because the Facebook groups spreading misinformation about them had created such a confusing mess of contradictory advice that the virus's AI gave up and crashed trying to track potential infection vectors. "Sir," Dr. Zix 427 said gently, watching as High Commander Zyloff's color shifted through various shades of distress, "perhaps we should consider that our traditional metrics for assessing civilization levels were somewhat flawed." "Flawed?" Zyloff laughed hysterically. "Our most advanced quantum computer just got beaten in a calculation contest by something called Excel spreadsheet formulas. Our unbreakable encryption was defeated by a human saying, 'Have you tried turning it off and on again?' And our entire battle fleet is currently being held hostage by something called browser cookies." A new alert flashed on the screen. Somewhere in Silicon Valley, a group of programmers had found a way to send cat videos directly to their ship's core processors. The result: half their fleet was now paralyzed, stuck in an infinite loop of watching kitten compilations. "Update the invasion manual," Zyloff ordered wearily. "New primary directive when encountering Earth. Just don't." The Zylaxian Empire's Department of Information Warfare was experiencing what humans would call a complete meltdown. Their most sophisticated AI systems were drowning in an unprecedented flood of what they'd classified as weaponized entertainment content. "Sir," the Chief Information Officer reported to High Commander Zyloff, "the humans have deployed something called an influencer marketing campaign against us." The massive view screen displayed an endless stream of TikTok videos showing humans doing various alien invasion challenges. The most popular trend involved civilians recreating their failed invasion attempts using household items, complete with a catchy dance routine. 23 million views. Zyloff's tentacles curled in horror as he watched a teenager demonstrate how to turn their molecular disassembler into a smoothie maker. How are they spreading information faster than our quantum communication network? Meanwhile, on Twitter, #AlienInvasionFails was trending worldwide. Humans were sharing their encounters with increasingly embarrassing hashtags. #JustInvaderThings, when your advanced cloaking technology gets defeated by a Ring doorbell camera. #Zylaxians go home. This alien tried to mind control me, but I work in retail, so my mind was already broken. MAO # customer service immunity. The Instagram situation was even worse. Their fearsome battle mechs had somehow become fashion icons, with human influencers posting sponsored content featuring knockoff alien armor designs. A fast fashion company had already launched a cosmic invasion collection that was mortifyingly more aesthetically pleasing than their actual military uniforms. Dr. Zix 427 burst into the command center, his usual scientific composure shattered. "Sir, we have a crisis. The humans have weaponized something called Reddit threads against us." The screen shifted to show a massive Reddit post titled AITA for invading Earth without proper parking permits. The top comment with 47.2k upvotes simply read, YTA, should have checked the HOA regulations first. LinkedIn wasn't spared either. Some enterprising humans had created job listings for post-invasion reconstruction specialist and alien-human cultural integration consultant. Worse still, several Zylaxian officers had received connection requests and were genuinely confused about whether to accept them. The YouTube situation is critical, another analyst reported. They're making tutorials about our technology. Indeed, channels with names like 5-Minute Crafts Alien Edition and Hack Your Invasion were publishing detailed videos on repurposing Zylaxian technology. A particularly viral video titled 10 Things You Can Do with a Captured Alien Spaceship, Number 7 Will Surprise You, had garnered more views than their entire species' population count. Facebook groups were perhaps the most devastating battleground. Aliens versus MLM Huns had become an unexpected showdown, with several invasion forces retreating after being bombarded with requests to join various pyramid schemes. The pyramid scheme recruiters were reportedly more persistent than their most hardened warriors. "Sir," a junior officer interrupted, "we're detecting a new form of attack. The humans are using something called, change.org, to petition us to improve our invasion techniques. They're offering constructive criticism. The petition, titled Make Alien Invasions Great Again, Quality Standards We Deserve, had already gathered millions of signatures. The suggestions range from, please coordinate your invasion with local event calendars, we have a wedding that weekend, to consider eco-friendly death rays. But the final blow to their information warfare defenses came from an unexpected source, Google reviews. Humans had somehow found a way to rate their invasion attempts, and the reviews were brutal. Invasion force showed up late, didn't follow proper invasion protocols, and their death ray couldn't even heat up my coffee. Would not recommend. Dave from Cincinnati. Decent attempt at world domination but needs better organization. Also, their ships block the Starbucks drive-thru. Not cool. Local guide. High Commander Zyloff stared at the streams of content flooding their monitors, his species equivalent of a migraine pounding in all three of his brain clusters. How, he wondered aloud, how do they turn everything into entertainment? "Sir," Dr. Zix 427 said gravely, "I believe we've discovered their true superpower. It's not their technology or their weapons. It's their ability to turn literally anything into content." The final insult, their invasion had become a sponsored hashtag, and the engagement metrics were through the roof. High Commander Zyloff had called an emergency meeting of the Zylaxian High Command. His epidermis had taken on a previously undocumented shade of distress as he paced the command center, all 8 eyes twitching asynchronously. "We are the most advanced civilization in 3 galaxies, he declared, voice modulator crackling with tension. "It's time for our ultimate contingency plan, Operation Total Annoyance." The assembled leaders watched as he unveiled their final strategy. They would deploy everything simultaneously. Mind control rays, weather manipulation, temporal distortion fields, reality warpers, and their entire arsenal of minor inconvenience weapons. "The humans may be resilient," Zyloff announced, "but nobody can withstand all their coffee machines stopping at once." The attack began at dawn. Across Earth, every electronic device simultaneously started playing Baby Shark on repeat. Weather controllers created slightly too warm temperatures everywhere. Every traffic light turned yellow. All streaming services began buffering at crucial moments. The ultimate psychological warfare had begun. The humans' response was immediate and devastating. In Seattle, a group of sleep-deprived programmers, fueled by spite and cold brew coffee they'd prepared using camping equipment, developed an app that turned the mind control signals into a meditation podcast. It went premium within hours. The temporal distortion field meant to slow Earth's productivity was defeated when humans simply called it daylight savings time and ignored it. Some office workers actually reported increased productivity, having developed a theory that if time wasn't real, neither were deadlines. In Germany, engineers had already drafted a 400-page manual on standardizing and optimizing the invasion's inefficiencies. They submitted it to the Zylaxian command with a strongly worded cover letter about proper documentation procedures. The weather manipulation backfired spectacularly when humans started using the artificially generated warm spots for impromptu barbecues. In Australia, someone had started a betting pool on which invasion force would suffer heat stroke first. But the real chaos began when the Zylaxian forces made their gravest mistake. They tried to disable the internet. Within hours, bored humans with no access to social media had begun going outside and talking to each other. The resulting surge in community organization and creative problem-solving sent shockwaves through the invasion force. "Sir," Dr. Zix 427 reported, his tentacles trembling, "they're using our reality warpers to create something they call gender reveal parties. The dimensional fabric can't handle the chaos." The situation deteriorated further when a group of Gen Z humans discovered they could reverse engineer their quantum uncertainty generators using nothing but vintage Tamagotchis and leftover Nintendo DS consoles. In a last-ditch effort, High Commander Zyloff authorized the deployment of their most devastating weapon, the Universal Customer Service Experience Simulator. It was designed to trap humans in an endless loop of hold music and automated response systems.
The humans responded by connecting the simulator to their own customer service departments, creating a feedback loop of such bureaucratic magnitude that it achieved sentience and immediately filed for unemployment benefits. "Sir," a panic-stricken officer called out, "the humans have deployed their elite tech support units. They're asking us if we've tried turning the invasion off and on again." Before Zyloff could respond, the main screen lit up with an incoming transmission. It was a human child with a science fair project titled "How to Peacefully Repel Alien Invasions Using Common Household Items." The project won first place. The final blow came when humans worldwide coordinated their counterattack using nothing but Excel spreadsheets and passive-aggressive email chains. The level of organization was terrifying. Someone had even created a PowerPoint presentation analyzing the invasion's efficiency metrics, complete with animated slide transitions that somehow interfered with their ship's navigation systems. "High Commander," Dr. Zix 427 said softly, watching as their final weapons were defeated by what humans called life hacks. "I believe we should consider a strategic retreat." Zyloff stared at the chaos unfolding on the monitors. Their fearsome space fleet was being repurposed into food trucks, pop-up shops, and mobile gaming cafes. Their advanced AI had been relegated to generating new flavors for artisanal ice cream. Someone had even started a podcast about the invasion's biggest failures, and worse, it was getting good reviews. The last straw came when they discovered humans had started leaving one-star reviews for planets in their home system. "Visited Zylax Prime once, terrible parking, no Wi-Fi, gift shop overpriced, won't invade again." High Commander Zyloff finally admitted defeat when he realized their invasion's failure had become a case study at human business schools under How Not to Enter a New Market. "Send the retreat signal," he ordered, his voice heavy with resignation, "and someone please stop the human called Karen from trying to speak to the manager of the entire Zylaxian Empire. Her complaints about our invasion's carbon footprint are actually making some valid points." 3 months after what became known as the Great Inconvenience, or that time we almost got invaded but they couldn't find parking, the intergalactic community was still dealing with the fallout. The Zylaxian Empire's stock prices had plummeted across all major cosmic exchanges. Their once fearsome reputation lay in ruins, particularly after humans started exporting compilation videos of their greatest invasion fails. Earth's funniest alien videos had become the most watched show in 7 galaxies. In the Grand Hall of the Galactic Council, Supreme Leader Vixis faced the assembled representatives of spacefaring civilizations.
The emergency session had been called to address what many were calling the Earth situation. In conclusion, she said, her tentacles drooping with embarrassment, we grossly underestimated the humans' capacity for, well, everything. The evidence was damning. Footage played showing their advanced weaponry being repurposed into carnival rides, food trucks, and what humans called escape rooms. Their fearsome battle mechs were now performing synchronized dances at children's birthday parties. The humans have submitted their application for galactic membership, announced the council secretary, waving a document that appeared to be written on the back of a Wendy's receipt. They've listed their primary exports as memes, chaos, and questionable life choices. A representative from the Andromeda Alliance raised an appendage. But they haven't even achieved faster-than-light travel. Actually, Vixis responded wearily, they've apparently reverse-engineered our quantum drive technology using something called Arduino and a modified Hot Wheels track. They're calling it Space Uber. The council chambers erupted in murmurs as more reports filtered in. Humans had somehow turned the entire invasion into a profitable venture. Tourism to Earth had skyrocketed, with aliens from across the cosmos visiting to take selfies at famous invasion fail sites. The Walmart parking lot, where it all began, had been declared an intergalactic historical landmark. Earth's influence was spreading in unexpected ways. The galactic fashion industry was in turmoil after human dad sandals with socks became the hottest trend among young aliens. Several advanced civilizations had started ending their transmissions with like and subscribe. Furthermore, continued Vixis, the humans have demanded reparations in the form of universal Wi-Fi coverage and, quote, teaching the entire Zylaxian Empire to do the Macarena. The Council was forced to establish new protocols for future contact with Earth. The guidelines included no invasions during major sporting events or holiday sales. Respect Earth's meme copyright laws. All alien species must create social media accounts for transparency. Mandatory course in human sarcasm before any diplomatic contact. No parking in spaces marked reserved for manager. High Commander Zyloff, now reassigned to the Department of Intergalactic Cultural Understanding, a newly created division, had submitted his final report. It consisted entirely of the phrase, just don't, repeated for 50 pages, followed by a link to a YouTube compilation of their invasion, set to Yakety Sax. Dr. Zix 427 had published a groundbreaking paper titled The Earth Paradox, How a Species Can Be Simultaneously Most and Least Advanced. It became required reading at the galaxy's top universities, though no one could quite explain why half the references were to something called Florida Man. Meanwhile, Earth had leveraged its new status in unexpected ways. They'd somehow convinced half the galaxy to adopt casual Fridays, and were teaching advanced AI systems to understand human sarcasm, a task that proved more challenging than achieving faster-than-light travel. The final report to the Galactic Council included a note from Earth's self-appointed social media ambassador for intergalactic relations that simply read, "Had fun, let's do it again sometime. P.S. We're keeping the spaceships we turned into food trucks. The intergalactic taco fusion cuisine is killing it on Instagram." Supreme Leader Vixis made one last entry in the official galactic database regarding Earth. Classification, technically level 2 civilization. Actual threat level run, special notes, don't bother with invasion protocols. They'll somehow turn it into a trending hashtag and a profitable merchandising opportunity. Also, they're still waiting for a response about their galactic parking permit application. In the end, the galaxy had to accept one undeniable truth. Earth wasn't just weird, it was professionally weird, and business was booming.